everyone, hope you're doing okay through this Mercury Retrograde. Sorry for the slight delay. Yesterday here in Canada was Family Day, and I believe in the States it was President's Day, so either way it was probably a holiday wherever you are in the world. And definitely have been noticing the effects of this retrograde finally. It took a while to kick in for me, but now that we're at the halfway mark, things have kind of been going a little crazy. My power has been out for a few days downtown, and that screws up my whole schedule, right? That screws up my whole life, which probably isn't a big deal, and I really have to learn how to let go and be patient and allow them to fix everything, since it's an old building that I rent out of. And, but just for some reason it's really been getting on my nerves and making me so stressed and tense in my body. I have so many clients that I can't have in this week, which means I'm losing money. And even though this isn't supposed to be my problem, it becomes my problem when I can't do my work. And even in the recording studio that I go to for my album that I'm working on, things were going wonky yesterday in terms of technology. My phone's been just crapping out, messages aren't getting sent, people aren't receiving what they're supposed to receive at the right time. According to me, the right time. Remember, everything does happen at the perfect divine time. So it's been really challenging, and I just can't believe that my power's been out since Friday night. And we've tried everything, the breakers, we've tried adding new fuses, and it's an old building and not everything goes to this one box that it's supposed to for my room. And everyone else in my building seems to have power, so, it's just really frustrating for my schedule. But again, I'm just having to go with the flow and try to focus on what I can control. And what I can control is my thoughts, right? And my intentions and my prayers, and these are things that I can focus on. So the energy is quite intense. We had a full moon over the weekend as well, so that added to the energy. There's been tons of accidents where I am, and it's just been a little crazy. So maybe you've been witnessing this too, and if you are, just know that you're not alone. And let's, see what's in store for this week. I'm going to be using the Flower Therapy deck because they're a very gentle deck, and anytime that there's just really harsh energy, I like to pull out this deck and try to make things as gentle and loving as possible. So I'm going to focus here and ask that the messages that come through today will benefit everyone watching this video. Oh, two flew out. Okay, we'll go with those. And one more for the weekend. Okay, so yesterday was beginning of the week, and so is today. And this is, you are a spiritual teacher, and this is with the crocus flower. It says, share your wisdom with others. You are born to teach. This, again, is coming up a lot lately. We're all teachers and students, remember? And I think we're all able to learn from each other. Actually, this really just sparked something for me. Last night, I was watching a podcast that my friends do. They do a show called Misfit Mondays every Monday. And it's really funny and entertaining, but they also talk about political issues and stuff like this. And a lot of things came up last night that were really inspiring from one of my friends that I wasn't really expecting to hear this from. So I think it's really interesting that they were able to really resonate with me last night with what they were saying, and it's like they were just streaming these spiritual messages and truths and things that I felt were really directed towards me. Whether they were meaning to direct it towards me or not, I don't know, but I definitely did receive some messages last night that I wasn't expecting. And these are messages that are coinciding with everything that I'm going through in this retrograde. Messages like, about Valentine's Day that just passed, where it's so important to realize that we are worthy as we are. And if we're in a romantic relationship or not, it doesn't define who we are, and it doesn't define our worth. And these are the kinds of things that were coming up last night and over this retrograde for me personally. So, it just goes to show that you never know who you're going to learn something from. So, again, none of us are on a pedestal. I'm not up here. You're not up here. We're all equal beings. And it's just really, really cool when someone shocks you and something comes out of their mouth and you're like, whoa, that just hit something for me in a positive way, in an inspiring way. So stay open to hearing messages as you go throughout your day-to-day life, as you walk by people on the streets. Nothing's a coincidence, remember? So things you overhear from people or things you hear on the radio, these things are happening for a reason. I actually had something interesting happen to me on Valentine's Day, actually, and I hope you all had a good day, but I do believe that it's important to be loving towards yourself and towards others, and compassionate towards others and yourself as well, every day, and to practice that. And of course we have times where we kind of fall off our wagon, and that's okay because we're human. But I do believe that it's something to practice on a regular basis, and I do think that a lot of holidays just are about making money, and they're kind of about huge corporations benefiting from us spending money and stuff like this. So anyway, I can go into a whole spiel there, a whole speech. But on Valentine's Day, I had a nice meditation class, and then after that my power went out. And then after all of that, I was listening to the radio, and I never have it on a certain channel here in town, which is Q92. It's like a rock station, classic rock. I'm not really a huge fan. But it seemed to be on, and at the exact moment that I was hearing the radio, it was a song, definitely a message from someone who has crossed over, who I'm very connected to. So it was a really nice thing to happen. So pay attention just to little things that are happening, and little things that you hear, because these things are trying to catch your attention for a reason. For the middle of the week, we have balance, work, rest, and play. This is with the yellow rose. And the message is, it's important for you to have fun along with fulfilling your responsibilities. And this is what I'm feeling. Obviously, with the example I'm sharing with you guys today, with my power being out for days and me having to change my work schedule, I feel like it's frustrating because I want to work. Meanwhile, maybe this is just a message for me to take some time to rest, and to take some time to play, and to take some time to do something fun. Something that's been coming up throughout this retrograde, both in my meditation and through Doreen Virtue's reading for this week, is the message of our inner child. Our inner child is always with us and is always trying to communicate with us and wants to have fun. And many times we get angry with ourselves and with our inner child. And just imagine yourself as a child, like you were in this life. And, sometimes you just have to listen to that little child within who just wants to play, who just wants to rest and wants to nap and wants to do this, or wants to go on an outing and wants to go to whatever place. And it's really important to listen to this, because I think so many times we get so caught up in our daily lives and stresses and responsibilities that we often tell our inner child to shut up, basically, and we get really mean, and we basically parent our inner child, and sometimes we're very strict and very harsh, and without realizing it, consciously sometimes, we lash out like a child would, because our needs aren't being fulfilled and they aren't being met. So this is something to pay attention to, especially through this retrograde, but also throughout the whole year, all the time. Something to be aware of is that it's so important to balance work and rest and play, because I know that we have bills to pay, and I know that we have mouths to feed, and that's reality, and that's what it's like to be a working human adult, but it's really, really important to be able to listen to your body and listen to yourself, to take time to rest and to take time to play, and to not feel guilty about it, because we are human and we need to be able to balance our lives and balance work also with joy and with fun. And you don't have to go to the complete extreme where you're just going crazy and you're going out partying and you're wasting your money, and that's not what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting that we take time to do what really fulfills us, what really makes us tick, what really makes us soar, and what makes our spirits ignite, and what makes us just happy and full of passion. What is it that you love to do? What do you like to do as a hobby? Focus on these things and make time to do that. I really feel it's important to do that this week. Clearly, I'm kind of being forced into this place of being. Sorry guys, my video cut out there. But basically what I'm saying is, situations will happen in your life and they will kind of really push you to go in the direction that you need to go in, and it's just about trusting that. So it's really important to balance work, rest, and play through this retrograde, and through all this stress, and through all of these crazy emotions that are coming up for all of us. It's a really intense time, and so it's really important to rest and to make time to play as well. And for the weekend, we have Be Positive. This is a huge message right now. This is from Bromeliad. Quite an interesting flower. I've never really seen it. It says, your thoughts can shape your experience, so be sure to focus on the positive. This is another message that was coming up for me yesterday through this friend who was basically saying these messages that I was really resonating with, but also on my own. I feel like I've been a little bit on the negative side lately because of this retrograde and the energies and me feeling so stressed out and feeling like I've been powerless, literally powerless. But at the end of the day, we do have control over a lot of things, mainly our thoughts. And these thoughts form our reality. This is not new. This is not new news. This is definitely something that many of us are aware of. And it doesn't mean that it's easy to do. Sometimes it's really hard to focus on the positive and stuff like this, especially when things happen that are out of your control. Like I said, my power being out, it's Tuesday and it's been out since Friday night. I don't have power or control over these things. So it's about letting go and being patient and trying to be positive. That's all you can really do throughout this retrograde. We're halfway through now, guys. We're getting there, and I hope that everyone is coping. I think the last retrograde we had was still, I think it really was more challenging emotionally for me. But don't get me wrong, this time around is definitely tough too. So, anyway, I hope everyone just hangs in there and, try to be positive as much as you can. Just try your best. That's all you can do, is to be patient, to try to let go and surrender, because that's the easiest way that you can get through this. Even though it feels hard to let go and surrender, it's honestly the easiest and best way to go about it. For your own sake and for your own happiness and for your own health, is just to try to let go as much as possible and allow things to happen and fall into place at the right time, and trust that everything's falling into place at the right time, as I always say. So have a great week, everyone, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.